I am back. Rudrance for Black and White Network. If you're new to the channel, pop the subscribe button, like, comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. I've got two stories on this video. Number one, we're going to be checking out a pop culture icon, somebody that kids really look at, really enjoy, they like, they gravitate towards, and that is Kellogg's Tony the Tiger and Dylan Mulvaney hooking up for a photo op. And as Kellogg, I guess, is trying to go full Bud Light / Target at this point. That's all I can take out of this. And then we've also got Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban trying to justify the wokeness that these companies, the road that these companies have gone down for the sake of pushing radical political ideologies, and how going woke is actually quote-unquote good for business. Really? Because Anheuser-Busch and Target would beg to differ. I can kind of see the point he's attempting to make. I just think the narrative has changed in the last couple of months. I think Bud Light made everybody much more hypersensitive to paying attention. It was a wake-up call for everybody. Bud Light. And then Target did what they did, and I think that was a wake-up call. So what was viewed by some of these corporations as being a positive, and Mark Cuban trying to justify it. Now, he's a radical leftist, too. It's kind of odd. Mark Cuban and Trump used to be very good friends, believe it or not. There was even a time when Mark Cuban was almost Trump's choice for vice president back in the I'm going to originally run 2016 days, and we know that changed a lot, right? And that's just a side note to that, but I happen to remember that from a video that I did a while back. This is Breitbart. That's right. That is Tony the Tiger on your screen. And that is Dylan Mulvaney right there. That's right. Yikes. Posing with Kellogg's Tony the Tiger. Jesus, these companies, I don't know what it's going to take to get them to learn. I mean, Bud Light, that fallout, $30 billion. Target's at $15 billion now. And it's just getting worse for these companies. Transgender TikTok star Dylan Mulvaney had a great night at the 76 Tony Awards on Sunday, where he posed alongside none other than Kellogg's mascot, Tony the Tiger, who children recognize as the Frosted Flakes cereal character. I mean, everybody knows that's for Frosted Flakes, but Tony the Tiger is just sort of he's kind of a cultural icon now, too. So it's a bad look for Kellogg. His hair dyed blonde while wearing a bespectacled black gown with a mesh corset. Okay, my God. Grown-ass man wearing a corset. Mulvaney, a man living as a woman, joined the famous mascot on the magenta carpet. The Tiger had traded out his red scarf for a red bow tie. Oh, yep, okay. That displayed his name, and the two posed for several photos. Whew. Is this guy projectile puking? Oh, no, that's dementia. Though the Kellogg Company brand sent the mascot to the ceremony, it remains unclear if the brand managers had sanctioned or encouraged a photo with Mulvaney. Can you imagine if Kellogg had no intention of him doing a photo op with Dylan Mulvaney, and then the guy in the tiger suit did it? Ruh-roh. Quote, oh no, maybe they did make a comment. I don't know. Tony is thrilled to celebrate all the amazing talent and present them with the new Tony moment after the curtain falls. Laura Newman, Senior Director of Brand Marketing at Kellogg, told Fansided. Oh, there it is right there. There's them walking out, sauntering out right there. Yikes. The Kellogg Company jumped aboard the woke train in 2021 when they teamed up with GLAAD, the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, good God, for an LGBTQ-themed cereal called, quote, Together with Pride. What kind of marshmallows? What were those marshmallows shaped like? Oh my God, my kids in here, I would make a comment right there. For none other than Pride Month. As Breitbart News reported at the time, the limited edition cereal box would feature several of Kellogg's famous cartoon characters, including Tony the Tiger, Toucan Sam, and Snap, Crackle, and Pop. Oh, God. Man, in the bottom left-hand corner, Snap, Crackle, and Pop now have a new meaning on the gay box. In the bottom left-hand corner, a frosted mini wheat can be seen holding a rainbow flag with a triangle on it. God almighty. Side of the cereal box lists the pronouns he, him, she, her, and they, them. Wow. How about wow? What is that? I guess it's not. As well as a blank section that encourage customers to add their own. I just added who, what, when, where, why is a big one. General Manager of Kellogg U.S. cereal category, Doug Van Develde, described the cereal as a berry flavored. You can't make this up. As a fruit. Nutty. Are there nuts in this? Berry flavored rainbow hearts dusted with edible glitter. Every box included inside is your very own miniature tambourine. In the statement announcing the company's latest collaboration with Glad, the famed beer Bud Light took a hit in the marketplace last month after it partnered with Dylan Mulvaney, which caused a steep decline in sales. Right off a cliff, folks. Bud Light Vice President of Marketing Alyssa Heinerscheid, wow, sounds like a Nazi, was placed on a leave of absence for her role in pushing the ad. Her boss, Daniel Blake, went on a leave of absence almost immediately after. Get the hell out of our building, in other words. Given the circumstances, Alyssa has decided to take a leave of absence which we support. An Anheuser-Busch spokesperson told the Wall Street Journal at the time, Daniel has also decided to take a leave. Don't ever come back. Heinerscheid, wow, came under scrutiny following the Dylan Mulvaney ad after the video surfaced of her on a podcast earlier this year in which she aimed to shift Bud Light away from its fratty base. Quote, I had a really clear job to do when I took over Bud Light. It was this brand that is in decline. Oh, you just thought it was in decline. This brand is in decline, and it's been in decline for a really long time. So I pushed it off a cliff. And if we do not attract young drinkers to come and drink this brand, there will be no future for Bud Light. You are right. There was no future for Bud Light, just not in the way you were thinking. Heinerscheid said the brand reimagining meant shifting a tone. It means having a campaign that is truly inclusive and feels lighter and brighter and different and appeals to women and to men. So in other words, you turned your back on your entire demographic that actually bought your product. Probably not a great way to go. My God, Kellogg's has fully jumped in with both feet between their LGBTQ Rainbow Bright flavored cereal and their Tony the Tiger posing with Dylan Mulvaney. There it is right there. Oh, just soak it all in with its poisonous glory so you can move on to another brand when you're looking for your breakfast cereal. I don't know if I can keep my breakfast down having to do this video. Mark Cuban claims that going woke is good for business in the aftermath of a Bud Light disaster. It's hard to imagine a guy like Mark Cuban that's made that much money being that big of an idiot or an imbecile. But clearly, he's not paying attention to the actual current climate now. If going woke was a good thing and If you use Disney as an example and their box office returns for years, it is not good business, and their decline in their theme parks, not good business, and the failure of Star Wars at their theme parks is not good business. I don't know what to tell Mark Cuban at this point. I don't know. I truly don't. In fact, Cuban believes going woke might be a great business decision. Wow. Over the past few months, American consumers have watched as Bud Light and Target have been slammed for making questionable decisions. None are more infamous than Bud Light deciding to team up with Dylan Mulvaney. The beer brand under Anheuser-Busch's umbrella has seen sales fall off a cliff, and it appears there's no end in sight. Let me ask Cuban a question. Is Bud Light the official beer of the Dallas Mavericks? ? I'd love to know. Turns out teaming up with Mulvaney was not good business, but overall Cuban seems to think the idea of going woke has limited downside. Quote, first, a dip in market cap is meaningless. You have to realize that there aren't many individual owners of stocks, and almost all ownership is via funds, and most trading is quantitative. So it's not like the drop is because of tens of thousands of individuals that sold their stocks. He told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, yeah, but what happens if you got a product and said product quits moving off shelves and sits there? Or if you got a department store and nobody chooses to keep walking through the door? Or if you got a Kellogg cereal that people decide they don't want to eat for breakfast anymore because a guy dressed up as a female comes swinging in the door with Tony the Tiger. Mavericks owner then cited the success of major brands that go woke as proof it's actually positive. There's a reason almost all the top 10 market cap companies in the U.S. can be considered woke. It's good business, Cuban told the outlet. Yeah, but hold on now. If these companies had a prior built brand, okay, and massive brands like we know we know there's woke things that Amazon has done. There's woke things that Netflix has done. But they've also done some things on the other side of the aisle as far as content and things of that nature to at least somewhat make it more even from a political ideology standpoint. Were these companies so large? And I think it also has to do with something involving at what level do you decide to go woke? All right. Now, I don't like the whole pushing the diversity and inclusive thing involving race. I don't like that. But when you start getting into the ideologies involving sexual preferences, drag shows, things that will literally go against the belief set that are in people's Bibles, that's a big difference. There is a big difference. And it's the pride stuff, it's the LGBT stuff that flies in the face of people's religious beliefs that are different than your standard operating procedure of Disney deciding to elevate a character and make her a Mary Sue and make her strong. Yeah, that's a form of going woke. But it also isn't something that has a religious component involved, like wrapping your loving arms around Dylan Mulvaney. Do not for a second believe that's not a massive difference here. If there's a problem, Cuban believes that most CEOs know it's best to just ride out the chaos and wait for people to start caring about something else. Most CEOs have enough experience to know to just wait out the news cycle until they go to the next one, the billionaire businessman told the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Overall, Cuban's point about going woke, not really harming businesses, is pretty correct. That's why so many brands have been comfortable getting into the culture wars. Brands see little downside. ESG, environmental social governance scores, and investing have become incredibly popular. It forces corporations to do and promote certain things in order to get investing in major corporations have willingly decided to be slaves to ESG scores. For example, companies are motivated to support abortion or BLM in order to secure more investing, according to Fox News. Well, I don't know if I trust that. This is what I think they have to be aware of, and it's what I just talked about. I think the narrative has shifted, okay? And I think it has to do with how woke did you go, and does it cross over into a belief set that might impinge or involve somebody's religious beliefs? There's a big difference there. However, it does seem like people have hit a turning point ever since Bud Light teamed up with Dylan Mulvaney. Yeah, and now people are also hypersensitive to it as well, which is not a good sign for companies. Since then, the public has watched a backlash unfold unlike anything we've seen before. We're 2.5 months into boycotts and an unrelenting pressure campaign. It's not going away. Mark Cuban might claim tanking a stock price might not mean much, but Anheuser-Busch investors almost certainly feel differently. Of course they do. They're in a full-blown panic. And the people trying to be out there selling and moving their beer are also in a panic. AB stock is at 55.16 as of Monday morning before the stock market opened. That's more than 17% decline from where it was at the end of March before Mulvaney's ill-fated March Madness promo. Cuban wants us to believe that's not a huge deal. People simply don't believe that. And that's absolutely correct. We don't believe it. I don't believe for a fact that Anheuser-Busch is sitting back right now going, we just got to wait it out. It's going to be fine. Nothing to see here. Please move along, as merchandisers are having to quit their jobs and go work for other beer companies. And if it wasn't a big deal, Target would have left all of their tuck-friendly merchandise at the front of the store instead of either A, getting rid of it completely, or B, condensing it way down and moving it way back to the back of their stores. Absolutely, this is a big deal. And I don't think Mark Cuban, I think he's decided to put everything involving a narrative that's woke all into one bucket. And while it's true, I don't like any of it. I don't. And a lot of people don't. And it has caused loss of business in the past for a lot of these companies, including Disney. There's also certain levels of wokeness. And again, when it starts crossing into going against the belief set of Christians, Catholics, and in pushing itself and infringing on those beliefs, boy, you're talking about a whole different level of boycott, whole different level of money. And I also believe that it brought a lot more people that weren't paying attention to what was going on with products. It opened up a new door to a new set of people that are now aware of what's going on in their surroundings. That's a big difference, too. This was very public with Bud Light. This has been very public with Target. I mean, my God, Garth Brooks probably wishes he had never opened his shit door on his face the other day when he started spewing out crap, because he has been getting drugged, Cracker Barrel, getting destroyed. I can't wait to find out how much business Cracker Barrel has lost. So, yeah, I think people are more aware and people are paying a lot more attention. So while in the past, it didn't hurt as bad monetarily and we were able to ride out the repercussions, what happens when there is no riding it out and it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse? I think the narrative has changed. Tell me what you think. Tony the Tiger bringing his rainbow-colored box of Rice Krispies Frosted Flakes. Yeah. Wait, that's Snap, Crackle, and Snap, Break Your Back, Crackle, Pop. I don't know. It all sounds gay to me. It really does. Peace. I'm out. Tambourine playing with Tony the Tiger's tail. Till next time.